talagang hindi na ano yun, no, allowed as an alibi. So that is why you should avoid those grades, no? 5, and we will meet again on Tuesday for a lecture, and then after that midterm week na. Okay, so paghandaan na yung midterm, that is April 1 to April 4 ata yun, no? So after that, bawal na ang mag-drop. So mula nung Feb 25 up to today until March 31, parang pwede pa kayo na normal dropping. So meron kayong iiwan o hindi na papasukan, you make sure na ipa-file siya. Kasi kapag hindi po nyo na-file yan, bigla na lang hindi pumasok, your professor can give you 5 or W. And that would mean for the rest of the 2 semesters that you have left, no? So, since 4th year na kayo, hindi na kayo free. So, sayang din yung 2 taon. So, if you're, yung 4th year, first semester, full load kayo, no? So, maybe the tuition fee is 7,000 to 8, no? Kasama naman na yung miscellaneous. Then, doon sa 4th year ninyo, second semester, hindi na rin siya libre, although 11 units lang kayo. Okay? So, 11 times 200 plus miscellaneous. No? Konti na lang. Because you will have your OJT and project design. So if you might ask, if you will be required to join, no, to be one of those na selected para magkaroon ng face-to-face by first semester, the answer is yes, because you are graduating and sana fully vaccinated, no? So I know that earlier I have shared the new CHED memorandum order with regard to the policy, no, that will be implemented. So, of course, from there, gagawa ng IRR or Implementing Rules and Regulation ang RTU. And then, yun yung ating susundan, no, if ever na sa na actually kasama na kayo for your lab subject. Hindi naman lahat. Flexible pa din. So, for those who are not here in Manila, so maybe that would be some a problem. So we are not yet sure if still na merong survey na magaganap, just like before na you will not be compelled to attend na face-to-face if talagang not possible, no? So yun ay magiging part ng IRR, and then we will have to wait for that. So for now, paki-explain sa magulang, sa nagpapaaral, yung tungkol sa waiver, and then sign it, and then upload to the specific drive, no, assigned for your section. Okay? So, 38, may 10, 38, may 11 pa nawawala. I guess I can start. Okay, so last time, good afternoon. Can you hear me now? Very well?
Yes po, ma'am.
All right. So, you can adjust if I am coming too loud, or you can adjust the volume if I am soft, no, not too that you cannot hear. All right, so today, no, since last week we had our risk assessment. So as we have observed, most of you had found out that in your houses or in your area, you are not safe in terms of electrical or fire hazard. Okay, so electrical hazard. Electrical hazard would result to fire. That is the risk. And the severity of that is very high. Well, the likelihood can be 4 or 5, but some of you had featured, diba, yung mga spaghetti or mga sa outside, no, yung Meralco post na meron mga, well, yung not so safe ang kanilang location. That's, spaghetti, may jumper, you can never tell. So in here, since it is March, which is the fire prevention month, so I discussed na today, kung hindi man kayo naka-attend ng webinar, no, fire safety webinar of the RRMO, which was, I know, conducted last week. So kaya inuna ko na to, no? So, isiningit natin tong topic hanggang March pa. Kasi parang too late na kung next week pa to, matatapos na yung March. Right? So, our topic today is fire safety, which includes prevention and protection. Protection muna before prevention. Okay? So, I will share my screen. Anyway, uploaded ito last night yata. Pasensya na, alas 10 yun. Sinabay ko lang dun sa inihabol kong in-upload. Okay, so I hope you can see this. If you are using your gadget, medyo maliit, lalakihan ko. Alright, so today, topic number 6 is about fire protection and prevention. So this lesson was given to us in toto by the White Cliff who had given us the training for Bosch. No? So this includes the introduction, definition of fire, and other terminologies. Characteristics and behavior of fire. Included is the topic on chemistry of fire, 4 classes of fire, what are the fire causes, how is fire transmitted, methods of extinguishment, and we are to discuss fire extinguishers. No? So causes of death and casualties. I have even shared a video on how to use fire extinguisher in our Google Classroom. Well, of course, after protection, actually protect yourself, no? Importante, i-prevent mo para wala kang ipoprotect. Okay? So, fire prevention means study, no? On how you should be informed on what to do para hindi tayo lahat makaranas nito. Okay, so 3 E's of fire prevention, elements of fire safety, hazard recognition and analysis. But we will not be conducting this now. If you can still remember, in our discussion of the different types of risk assessment, number 1 is fire safety, diba? Fire safety risk assessment. Okay, so ito ay naka-center on finding the hazard which is connected to fire, no, fire causes. And then gagawa ka ngayon, iba lang, may dinagdag lang sa kanya na item, pero it is like our risk assessment. Kasi pareho lang naman, nagkataon lang na nakafocus tayo dun sa fire. Okay, so sa fire hazard, sa electrical hazard or fire hazard. Okay, so how do we inspect fire extinguishers? 4 fundamental rules of firefighting. Kasi one way or another, you should be saving yourself also. But dapat you are knowledgeable because, of course, no, only the firefighters are those trained to do this. But sometimes we are pushed to the to the situation wherein we would like to save our loved ones. Pero ito, meron tayo dyan tips, no, fundamental rules of firefighting. Okay, so what are the actions that should be taken in case fire happen? Firefighting drill is important, fire evacuation drill, and what do you lose when there is fire, no? Okay, so let's go first with fire protection. Okay, so Bosch, Basic Occupational Safety and Health in Fire Protection, this is part 1. So introduction, no, as hindi na lang ito, no? So in the recent past or very immediately present, we have been hearing news about yung mga sunog, lalo na kapag March, because most of the fire occurrences in the Philippines resulted in catastrophe. So maybe you are not born yet or still a baby when the fatalities and major property damage occurred in the ozone disco. You can Google or search for it in YouTube kung what happened during that time. And until now, there are survivors who had some damage in the parts of their body. Okay, so at least they live. Marami dyan yung casualty talaga, fatality. Okay, and then also the damage in the property. So totally, wala na yung ozone disco and hindi na nga uso yung disco ngayon, no? So talagang, during the time, there has been some, strict implementation of fire safety in every establishment, especially if it is enclosed at saka yung madaming people going into the place. So let's just define first what is fire. Okay, so we often see, yung mga, of course, kapag nagluluto, kailangan ng fire, no? So pag sinabing fire, it is a chemical reaction known as combustion. So meaning may combustion, may sinusunog kapag may fire. It is the rapid oxidation of combustible materials. So this meaning that oxygen is present, no, during that in that scenario that you are making fire. It is accompanied by a release of energy in the form of heat and light. Okay, 41. 40. Okay, so kapag may sunog o may fire, there is oxygen, there is heat, and there is light. Okay, so what is flash point? So pag sinabing flash point, this is the lowest temperature at which a substance will give off enough vapors to form a flammable mixture. So parang nag-uusok pa lang, no? Flash point. With air near the surface of the substance that will burn when a flame or spark is applied. So for example, no, you have a heat, a burner. So hindi pa yun fire kasi nagiinit pa lang. So pero what it is spark, no? A flame or a spark is applied, automatic magkakaroon na ng fire. So yan yung lowest temperature. So meron pa to, no? Fire point naman, the temperature at which a fuel will continue to burn after it has been ignited. It is a few degrees hotter than the flash point. So meaning yung nag-iinit pa lang, kapag medyo mas mataas pa yung kanyang temperature, hotter than the flash point, that is the time na pwede na ngayong magkaroon ng fire, no? Fire point. May may magbo-burn na. Okay? So basta may ignition na. Yun namang ignition temperature, it is the lowest temperature when a substance ought to ignite. It could have no flame or spark. Diba? Parang kapag we can just compare it to when you want yung ignition engine in sasakyan, diba? In vehicles. So there is no actual fire there, pero you are igniting. Parang sa lighter, diba? Nagla-light ka. So hindi pa siya talaga nag-aapoy, nag-i-ignite. So that is the ignition temperature. But when the concentration of a flammable vapor between the lower explosive limit and the upper explosive limit is given quantity of air that will readily burn, ang tawag na doon is explosive or flammable range. So ito yung meron ng fire, no? Nasusunog na halimbawa yung isang place. Tapos, nagkaroon ngayon in the middle, in between, yung sobrang init at sobrang lamig, no? Naghalo na siya in between. That is the time na nag-explode. Nagkakaroon na ng explosion. Hindi naman kasi every time na may nasusunog, even when we see, no, kapag sa mga houses that burns, maybe hindi pa kayo nakakita ng actual, no? Pero may nakakita naman na ako niyan. Pero talaga na malayo-layo naman. Pero kapag nandun ka sa actual scene, you should go out. Hindi, yung iba kasi nag-uusisero, no? Nagmamarites doon. Pero delikado yon kasi what if there is something, no, na pwede siya na mag-explode. Especially, nandun yung LPG. Okay? So, eto ngayon yung and upper explosive limit in between, that is the cause of explosion. Okay, so what are the characteristics and behavior of fire? So actually, meron tayong tinatawag na fire triangle. It is shown in the illustration here. Ayan. Yung fire triangle is composed of oxygen and fuel in proper proportion, a fourth element or a fourth player. So minsan patay na lahat, wala nang heat, no? Nag-subside na yung heat, tapos yung oxygen, kasi syempre 'di ba, when it is in open area, you have oxygen around, and oxygen is the type of of gas which is for burning, 'di ba? So kaya nga alam mo kapag walang oxygen, well, we need that to breathe, no? So pag walang oxygen, wala ring fire. Tapos pag puro carbon dioxide na, that is the time that you need to have your oxygen tank, yung PPE mo, gagamitin na yan. Tapos ano yung fuel, no? Until nagbo-burn. Kaya nga kapag nagkaroon ng sunog sa house, di ba, kunyari nagkasunog yung bahay, yung area, tapos light, made up of light materials, say wood, plastic, paper. Class, hindi mo na yan mapuput out. Hindi na siya mamamatay kahit nandiyan na si bumbero. Because yun yung fuel. Kaya nga sasabihin, wala na, talagang ang ililigtas na lang yung nearby na pwedeng maligtas, no? So lalagyan na nila ng ng whatever na pwedeng gamitin to extinguish the fire because nandiyan yung tatlong element. While may hangin, tapos may susunugin na fuel, no? Tapos syempre mainit, tuloy-tuloy lang yung sunog o yung apoy. Okay? So this is the fire triangle. Kaya yun nga nakakalungkot doon, laging nami-misinterpret yung firefighters kasi kala nabayaran kasi nililigtas yung kabila. Actually, kung talagang hindi na talaga, you just let that burn. Hindi mo na mape-prevent unless, no, talagang wala na yung fuel, ubos na yung masusunog. What if, halimbawa, wag naman, no, those that you have found out in your houses, yung inyong storage, tapos yun lang naman yung concentration ng nasunog sa fire. So, hindi mawawala yung sunog na yun until madami pa siyang sinusunog since nandun yung storage ng paper, old books, old everything. So, pwedeng hindi na siya kumalat to other parts of your house, especially kung meron naman siyang firewall or cement, no? Yun na lang yung ililigtas yung part na yun, pero yung area na yun, no, that is already given. Okay? Fire out na. Pero you know that there is a fire tetrahedron theory. Okay? So this means that it adds a fourth component of fire termed as the chain reaction. So if ever, no, na-exhaust mo na, sabi, the chain reaction will rage until one of the three elements is exhausted. Pag naubos yung tatlo dun sa fire triangle, there is a chance na magkaroon ulit. Depende yun kung may chain reaction. That is why you see naman when firefighters put out the fire, they will not leave at once, diba? They have to be on that area kasi baka mamaya meron na mga elements, may lumipad, no, na pwede ulit mag-spark para magkaroon ulit ng fire. So once na umalis sila doon, then they declare a fire out, meaning na ano na nila to, no? They have already checked kung magkakaroon ng chain reaction. That is why they have to, nilalagyan nila ng doon, keep out. Baka mamaya kasi may magtapon ng cigarette, no? Ito na naman, nag-react na naman yung sa area. Okay? So the tetrahedron is a transition from the plane geometric triangle to a four-sided pyramid. Ibig sabihin, nadagdagan ng isang element yung chemistry of fire o yung three elements para magkaroon ng fire. Kaya ingat, no? Huwag nang magstay dun sa area. Baka mamaya, yun nga, magkaroon pa ng cause. Sobrang exhausted, uminit, no? O kaya nagpausok, no? So, pwede kasi yun na magkaroon ng chain reaction. So, dun sa na-fire out na nila. Okay? Pero pag fire out, meaning wala na talaga yun eh. Okay? Kaya lang talaga they have to declare and check na wala ng chain reaction. So, alam nyo ba na may 4 classes of fire? Ayan. So, ang 4 classes of fire is important so that you know how to put out a fire. Okay? Ano yung gagamiting pamatay sunog when you know the 4 classes of fire. Okay? We have class A, class B, class C, and class D. For class A class, no? Class A class. For class A, my dear students, ito yung fires involving ordinary combustible materials, which is very common at home, such as wood, cloth, paper, plastic, rubber, and many plastics and many others. Light materials. And its symbol is A, no? Na green. Okay, so ayan yung class A. Class B is red symbol. Fires involving flammable or petroleum products such as gasoline, oil, paints, thinner, solvent, lubricating oil, greases, the crude oil itself, and LPG, and other flammable gases. Okay? Ayan yung symbol niya. Kaya kahit wala yung classification B, if this is what you see, the symbol, meaning that class of fire is B. Okay? Kapag C is blue, yan naman yung symbol. Ito yung madalas na, ito yung mga nakita niyo sa bahay ninyo, which are electrical equipment. Class C are those fires which are energized electrical equipment. Okay, while class D is a star D, no? So, yellow yan. Kaya lang hindi siya yellow dyan. Fires involving combustible metals such as magnesium, titanium, zirconium, sodium, and potassium, and other flammable naman, flammable metals, no? So, well, kapag may welding kayo sa bahay, tapos of course, that's metal, so that is a hazard. So, ito ngayon yung race niya, fire class D. Okay? So, ayan yun. Ordinary A, B is liquid grease, C, electrical equipment, while D, combustible metals. Okay. So, pabalikan natin yan later. So, what are the fire causes, no? So, well, number one, just like the usual sa bahay, the leading cause of industrial fire and even residential fire starts with your electrical appliances because this is merong wiring and motors, no? Most prevented by proper maintenance, and be aware, no, that you should unplug. Kasi kapag hindi, okay, what's the reason why you need to unplug? Because that causes heat. And heat is one of the element para magkaroon ng fire. And what if, no, sa bahay biglang nagsindi, tapos mainit na pala yung appliance nyo, no? So that is the time that it would explode. Even microwave oven, di ba kapag kasi ginagamit, hindi dapat muna siya palamigin. Pag sinara mo yan, yung, di ba, yung upper and lower limit of the heat, kapag bukas mo, biglang nag-e-explode. Kasi nandun, nag-iinit at lamig, nag-iipon lang pala siya para sumabog. And when it explode, paano kung merong other appliance na maapektuhan? So that's a cause of fire. So special attention is needed for equipment at hazardous processes and in storage areas. This is just example, no? Even television, umiinit. Even yung charger natin, no? Meron, ayan, kaganito. Yung aking ring light, mainit na. Ayan, so meaning that's also a fire. So when you are around naman, it's okay, pero dapat you have to keep it away from other, dun sa dalawa pa na chemistry of fire. Smoking, ayan, sa hazardous yan. Hazard yung smoke. Ay, cigarette, no? Hazard yung cigarette. Ang risk niya is bukod sa ating health issues is fire, no? Yung fire heat. 18%, a potential cause of fire almost everywhere. A matter of control, self-discipline, and education. Especially if you are magyoyosi, tapos kapag binagsak, hindi pinapatay. No? So what if you just throw it away, tapos nandun yung mga maybe dumaan, yung whoever fire na may nagko-conduct ng fire, metals or whatever object, o kaya yung even yung ignition ng sasakyan, tapos nag-smoke ka, yan. Bukod, syempre, obviously, kapag may nagwe-welding o kaya nagluluto, of course, dapat malayo kayo dyan. Yung iba, di ba, nakikita nyo nagluluto, nagyoyosi, that's bawal. Okay? So, talagang bawal, why? Wala naman nagbabawal. Hazard yun class, no? It's very risky. Okay, so no one is telling you to not to smoke. Basta you have to be responsible and disciplined and educated. Smoking strictly prohibited in indigenous areas, which involves flammable liquids. You are beside, no, yung gas station. Tapos magyoyosi ka. Even drivers are doing that. Provide. What can you do? Provide designated smoking area. Hindi ka naman pinagkukwit. Pero if you want to remove the hazard, initiate a quit smoking program gradually. no? Kasi mahirap din naman yung withdrawal agad. Nagkakaroon ng psychological effect sa tao. Okay? So, 18%. Friction is 10%. Ano ba yung friction? Talaga naman ang fire nagsimula sa pagra-rub of us objects, 'di ba? Kapag wala ka talaga. So kaya nga may preventive maintenance sa mga machines, no, sa company. Sa bahay, if you have ganyan, no, na maybe ano pa yung mga ginagamit sa bahay? Maybe just a simple sewing machine. Kung may friction yung ibaba, 'di ba, yung old. So delikado rin 'yon. Umiinit kaya 'yon. Okay? So ano pa, mga overheating materials, ito yung mga chemicals pero more should not room temperature, pero minsan nalalagay mo ang init-init doon, pwede siyang mag-explode, diba? So especially those involving heated flammable liquids and materials. It is prevented by supervision, wag iiwan, and competent operators. They should know what to do. And if you have these chemicals, you should always have a first aid kit. It might, diba, ruin your skin or your eyes. Nalagyan mo yung kamay mo, nawala ka sa loob mo, tapos you rub your eyes. So kaya yung mga ganyan ay dapat ay supervised, no? And supplemented by well-maintained temperature control. May mga nag-monitor ng temperature. Especially sa mga laboratories, kaya may mga temperature check yan. Pag nag-overheat yon, sasabog, no? Yung ating mga ginagamit na chemicals, niluluto yan, no? So, hindi lang sa company, kahit sa bahay, mamaya may ginagawa ka dyan. Yun yung paggagawa nyo ng PCB. Ayan, so that is also a part of that, no? Hot surfaces, yung mga sangyup nyo, class, delikado yan kasi that is a furnace, no? Hot surface. Heat from furnaces, hot ducts, lamps, welding machines, generator, exhaust manifolds, and others, prevented naman by ample clearance, insulation, and ventilation. Kaya nga kapag nagluluto using such rats, dapat open, di ba? May nangyari na yan sa restaurant. It is a Christmas time or a family gathering. Most of the family members ay na-hospital because of the burn from the samgyup, no? From dun sa iniluluto nila hot pot. Okay, so kaya ingat, 7%. Buti kung, yun nga lang, inibuti, no? Kasi tao naman ang nasunog. Well, kung mag-extend pa siya, tapos meron pa siyang gas, di ba? Yung butane yun. So, pwede siyang masunog pa yung area. Burner flames, improper use of portable torches. Di ba? Yung mga cook, yung mga nagtutorch ng mga ham, yung mga chef, no? Chef natin, boilers, dryers, ovens, sa mga sa mga bakery furnaces, nagluluto ng sa pugon, no? Portable heating units, ayan. So 7% is caused from this fire. Prevented by adequate ventilation, very true, no? Combustion safeguards and ample clearance, meaning you have to apply your business to proper authorities. Well, combustible sparks, sparks and embers released from incinerators, furnaces, fireboxes, various process equipment, and yung mga industrial and heavy equipment. Nakikita nyo doon, may mga spark yung mga pag ino-open at ginagamit, no? It should be prevented by proper enclosing of the working area and provision of spark arrestors. So they have to have this, no? So additional expense, pero at least it would save your life and your company. Okay, so what is the transmission of fire, no? Conduction. Okay, may nagko-conduct ng electricity. Convection, nandun lang yung heat sa loob. And radiation, which is galing from, actually meron ako ditong lesson, hindi ko lang makita, no? Radiation, actually anong nangyayari? So nangyayari yan, halimbawa, just imagine your poste ng Meralco. The lamp post, actually may radiation yan. So nakakonect yan sa ating bahay. Diba? So yung conductor, yun yung mga, wires. Pag pumasok yan sa inyo, yung ceiling nyo, meaning yung init, no, galing sa radiation, especially galing sa bubong, init ng araw, no? So the radiation from the sun plus yung fire, yung electricity na papasok sa inyo, usually nasa bubong. Diba? So kapag nasa bubong yan, nagkakaroon ngayon ng init sa inyong ceiling. Okay? Kaya maganda naman na meron kang yung kisame. Pero pag wala kasi, imagine that the radiation of the sun, umiinit ang bubong, tapos yung pang electricity ninyo, yung conductor of the electricity, ano nangyayari? Parang convection oven, di ba? Yung idea, umiinit sa loob, nagkakaroon ng init dun sa loob ng bubong, no? Yung distance ng bubong at saka ng ano tawag dyan? ng kisame. So nabubuo, kaya karaniwan ng sunog nagmumula sa taas, sa bubong. Kasi doon naiipon yung init. Okay? So that is why if ever that your transmission line o yung inyong linya ng kuryente ay hindi na-check, meron siyang open, no? Tapos ang init ng araw, kaya nga radiation, kaya March is said to be the month of Fire Prevention Month kasi nga during this time napakainit ng araw and the radiation from the sun would cause some convection inside our roofings. Tapos minsan yung roofing natin kasama yung kisame, di ba makitid lang. Kaya kung mayayamanin, yung iba triangle yung nila roof para yung init ay hindi masyadong mainit at hindi siya magkukos ng fire. So that is when fire is transmitted through conduction, convection, and radiation. I will share another, yung itsura, yung yung picture na wala dyan sa aking paiba-iba kasi ako ng computer na ginagamit. Dinownload ko lang to dun sa dating lesson. Okay, so how do you extinguish a fire? Are you still there? Can you still hear me, class?
Yes po, ma'am.
Nakaka-relate naman, ha? Kailangan imagine niyo yung bahay niyo habang nagdi-discuss tayo nito so that we can prevent things to happen. Okay, of course, kapag gusto mong tanggalin yung fire, nagpa-fire na, it's already burning. Okay, methods of extinguishment. Remove the heat. So alisin mo yung init, Usually kapag medyo mag-i-spark na yung sunog, lalo na kung galing ito sa pagluluto, what you do is to put off the kalan, diba? The stove, para mawala yung init. Cooling a fire calls for the application of something which absorbs heat. Okay? Water is the most common agent. Kaya yung idea natin na kapag mainit, iinom tayo ng tubig, which is true, Kaya lang dito, may mga iba-ibang class of fire, class A to D. Baka mamaya yung tubig, hindi naman siya para doon sa class na yon. Mas lalong lumala yung sunog, So, initially, syempre para ma-extinguish mo yung fire is to remove the heat. Second, remove the fuel. Kung possible, halimbawa, at the verge na yung